Hey guys, it's Doublelift with Razer Academy, and I'm doing an Ezreal part to my guide on laning. Um, Obviously, this is specifically for bottom lane, but a lot of these concepts can be applied to like every lane. But yeah, bottom lane I think is like the most dynamic and has the most room for outplay, even in bad situations, because it's 4 people and not just 2 people. I think in like 1v1s it's like really unchanging, but you kind of need some sort of guidelines if you want to get good at bottom lane, because bottom lane is just there's just too many variables that are so hard to understand and control. So this game, I'm up against Aframu, so I'm just gonna pause the game really fast and just go over what what should be going through your head. Okay, so first off, jungle pathing. This is really important to laning. Everything I'm going to be talking about is going to be really important to laning. So first off, jungle pathing. He's starting blue, which means most likely he's going to do his normal blue to red. This is obviously on the 3.9 patch, so this is subject to change, but not by much. So he's going to do his blue, and then he's going to end up at his red. Let's just say that. The specific camps don't really matter, and he's going to end up bottom lane at about 3 minutes. Maybe like 3 minutes 10 seconds, or he's gonna end up finishing his path around 3 minutes like 30 seconds, I'd say, and he's gonna be around bottom lane. That jungle pathing is gonna allow you to potentially get a gank off. If you want to call your jungler for a gank at 3:30, and our laning matchup right here, Blitz Draven, is gonna potentially zone us really hard and push us in really hard, because this is a really strong kill lane. You're gonna get pushed in, you're gonna get zoned, you're gonna get really scared, which means at 3:30 there's the potential for a gank, and for you to just completely outplay these guys by getting pushed in intentionally and just getting that gank. Obviously, the bottom lane that you're playing has a lot to do with this. We have Nami, which means that you have like a form of hard CC. So this is what your mentality should be going into the game. That's just, every single game you should have this kind of checklist going on of like, what's my jungler going to be doing, when can I get a gank, and how am I going to set the gank up, if there is the possibility of getting the gank. And jungle pathing has a lot to do with that. So first thing, you want to get pushed in, and doing double golems is perfect for getting pushed in. What this does is it lets them push the wave, and it doesn't really let you do anything. You're doing double golems, so you don't touch the wave, and see, already I'm getting pushed in by these guys. And if you just check out our vision, which you see, Blitz is kind of in this pressure, and he's just weaving in and out, and that's putting a lot of pressure on me, so I can't really push. That's totally fine. Now I'm level 2. I could try to play aggressively with my level 2, but I see that Elise is coming down, which is really good. This is super good. And the path that he chose is really smart too, because these guys are playing aggressive, they're pushing up, now they see Elise. And now you know that they see Elise because, I mean, everyone has this worded, okay? Like, just assume that every bot lane who plays this game has this worded. And now they're gonna back up, but it's a little late for that. This gank is, I mean, you might not get the kill, but you got a pretty decent chunk right here, I'd say a really decent chunk, and they get really greedy right here, and Afro goes for the double buffs, and he's just dead, and I got first blood. So this gank was a success. I think my follow-up wasn't as good as it could have been, and obviously like there was a lot of misplay there, because Elise ended up at like 20% HP, but we ended up getting the kill, so it was worth. Alright, so back to learning about laning, like what you're trying to accomplish. After you get a kill like this, you always want to push out and get a town. You can see I have 1,000 gold. That's enough to get a Vamp Scepter, or yeah, pretty much just a Vamp Scepter. You need Vamp on Ezreal. You need Vamp in every lane, I think. Sustain is just the key to continually applying pressure and continually trading bot lane. And so here's what I do, is right after you get the kill, immediately just push up and force him to CS under tower. This is a really high pressure situation for Afro. Like, he can't really do anything. He's just CSing under tower, and what you should be thinking is, okay, I pushed up this wave and he's still under tower, now I can get my free town. And I town in the worst spot. Do not, this is a guide, and never do what I did right here, Okay, like I'm not listening to my own advice. Like common sense tells me that this is always warded, and I'm just randomly towning right here. And if you see what happens is I have to blow flash to dodge this hook, which is and it delays my town by like so long too, which is just so stupid. Like I should never have done that because I could already be like in lane right here, and I wouldn't have to miss like any of this CS. But instead, I missed like a cannon and 2 melees. I missed 3 melees. It's so huge. When you get your towns interrupted, or I should say recalls interrupted, like you could potentially lose the lane just off of having a greedy recall and not like moving far back enough or just recalling in vision. And if you look at this is the exact same thing happens after move. He wants the town. He towned in a really greedy spot where we have it warded. He could have just walked another 3 seconds up over here in town, and we would have not been able to interrupt that, or like, you know, we wouldn't have that information available to us. And so now he can't recall, even though he had a lane advantage with the push going. He can't recall, and so he can't buy, and that's so huge. In terms of laning like coordination, you're probably like wondering, you know, how are you supposed to play each lane and blah blah blah. Like I'm just going over laning basics. For how to coordinate with your support on exchanges and stuff, like that's for another time. That's for another Razer Academy guide. But this one is just gonna focus primarily on how you're supposed to play the lane, and like the lane is basically just how you control the creeps and what your plan is coming into the lane. Right here, you know, in this lane, you can't win 2v2. It's really hard to outplay Blitz Draven. Like this is a disgusting kill lane, and so you have to elicit the help of your team, and you have to play around with the creep waves to get any advantage. You know, laning is all about controlling creeps, controlling last hitting, and then right here, get the help of your team, get your really strong jungler to dive this guy when this creep wave is pushed up like that, and this is like a free double kill, easy peasy. You know, this lane is effectively over now, because do you see how much creep is piled like on this tower? He's gonna lose all of this, and so now he's like behind 15, 16 CS. That's so huge, especially in a lane that he was supposed to win. The only reason that I won this lane is because you just have to have a plan coming into the lane. That's all. I had a plan coming into the lane. He didn't understand, like, oh, the jungler is gonna be here at like 3:30ish, and I have to play careful. And if I push up, I have to play really safe, and then I can play really aggressive as soon as I have enough vision and information to win. How you coordinate with your support is a completely different part of laning. This is like the most basic fundamental stuff is like, can you win? If you think you're going to be able to win, play aggressively and push up. If you're going to lose, you're going to get pushed up in lane, and you have to get your jungler to come help you. And then obviously this tower play is something that somewhat of like an advanced tactic, where you pile a giant wave onto the tower and you chunk them, and when they're at 50%, you can 3 versus 2 dive with certain champions. Like we have pretty decent champions. You have Elise and Ezreal. That's good. Anyways, now that you've established its aim is in the game, the laning phase is almost over. I've established a 20 CS lead. I have 2 kills, and bottom lane is 100% won in a counter matchup. And these kind of tactics you can always use. You can always just use your jungler, and you can always have a plan coming into lane of what you're going to do. Are you going to push? Are you going to freeze? Are you going to use your jungler? Are you going to counter gank? So yeah, that's my guide on basic laning, specifically with Ezreal, because it changes based on the hero. Certain heroes are better at pushing, certain heroes are better at freezing. So, yep, that's my guide.
Thanks for watching.
Okay, so this is my Razer Academy video for Malphite, and this game I'm playing against CRS. I think this game was potentially streamed. I'm not 100% sure yet. So I started off the game by misclicking and buying only 1 side ward instead of 2 side wards. So that's pretty good. I'm a pretty good player. But no biggie. It's actually, you know, you play on